Good morning. This is Kyle LaRoche here, and welcome you to my show. Very excited to speak with you. Last week I wasn't well, and so kicking off today, I wanted to start this year by saying something clearly because it frames everything that's going to follow for the next 51, 52 weeks. I'm not here to sell you a dream. I'm not here to hype an opportunity. And I'm not here to tell you I've figured everything out. What I am here to do is to talk honestly about how I stopped waiting for permission to earn and how that changed the way I think about money, time, and opportunity. For most of my life, I was waiting. I was waiting for the right job, the right moment, waiting for someone to say yes. And the shame is, I didn't even realize I was waiting. I think most people don't think of themselves as passive, right? They consider themselves patient, responsible, practical. But there is a difference between patience and paralysis. We're taught very early that money comes after permission. You're hired, you're scheduled, you're promoted. And school does this to us. There's work culture as well, and then there's also fear. You see, when permission doesn't come, our hours get cut, layoffs happen, when bills don't wait. We don't question the system, we question ourselves. We say, what did I do wrong? Why wasn't I picked? What do I need to fix before I can make more money? And that mindset itself is exhausting. It's expensive. It didn't occur to me until I had my own moment, realizing I didn't have to wait for anything. I used to collect cans. I thought as a kid it was a beautiful scheme. Each one of these is a nickel, 20 of them, and I've got a whole dollar. I mean, I was surprised no one else was doing this for pay. I was young. Now, once I realized I didn't need anyone's permission to pick up empty cans at the park or on the street after family parties, I felt empowered. I really thought to myself, this making money thing is simple. I I appreciated that good things come to those who wait, left behind those who stop waiting. The cans to collect are out there. Long story short, I rewired my thinking after that moment. And it's important to remember waiting is not neutral. Waiting costs time, it costs your confidence, and I think this is the worst, it delays learning. Because the longer you wait, the more intimidating it feels to start. Because you're not just behind financially, you feel behind. You feel like everyone else has gotten started already, and you're the last one to the party. You've missed out on the music. That's not the uncomfortable truth, but here it is. Most of the time, no one is stopping you. It's not your mom, it's not your dad, it's not your uncle or your grandmother. There's no gatekeeper. It's just you and your ideas about what is allowed, right? It comes back to that permission. And so when you don't get that answer from someone, the silence, the silence feels like disapproval, especially if you were raised to wait for okays, yeses, go aheads, approval from others. But at some point, it clicked to me. The system doesn't tell you you're allowed to earn in other ways. But it doesn't say it's against the rules. There is no referee telling you you're out of bounds when you do this or that. Put another way, life is a game, they say, but the key to me is it all depends on how you play it. That's how all games go. That's how any game is. So, my shift didn't come from this aha moment. I do remember being excited about cans, but once I figured that what you get is a part of how you move, what you see and look for, that's when it moved me to push. There was no viral win, and it's not like collecting cans was an overnight success either, but it started with that curiosity. What else can I do? So, another breakthrough moment, or something smaller than that, was in high school when I learned in my science ethics class that there are incentives for users' opinions. We talked all about the ethics of research, uh, what it means to test on people for different goals, whether that's medicine, whether that's business insight, uh, census taking, for example, polling. I thought, this is impressive. We can earn just by giving our opinions on things, just for participating in research. And it was real. There was a long history of unethical research and ethical research that gave me precedent to say it's it's out there. It's out there if you look. Surveys, user studies, market research. Now this was in high school. I had to have been 17, 16. I didn't appreciate that this could be my life. After all, I was too young. I wasn't exactly in my own household. I wasn't employed. And they were looking for a certain type of participant in a lot of the cases. But again, that seed was planted. That reminder that the money's out there. The cans to collect are out there. You've just got to be willing to go get it. So, some time passed. I grew older. I learned some things. I earned some things. I had lost and I gained, but it came back to me. In another pinch, I realized these opportunities are still out there. There's work for those willing to hustle, right? It doesn't have to be left behind by anyone. You can go out there and make a mark on your own. And it comes back to something I picked up in business school later on in life. So here's your free game. I said earlier it's about how we think it's the rules. The rules say we can't. We're not allowed. Not ready. But my friends, I have to ask you, if not now, when? If not you, then who? What you do not accomplish while waiting is an opportunity cost. You're missing out. So consider that the next time you're worried about whether or not the time is right, whether or not you have what it takes. Someone out there who knows less than you is getting further than you because they are not afraid to get started. So, back to the story at hand, the research opportunities I learned about in high school, I didn't act upon them until I was a bit older, but I did try it eventually. I filled out some surveys. I got qualified for some. Some others I didn't make it. I got screened out. But then I got paid. Now, it wasn't a lot, you know, but it was real. There was no boss. There were some interviews. That is how they screen. But there was no permission slip. That moment didn't really change my finances, but it changed my thinking. It left a mark. And that's because nobody approved it, and nobody stopped me either. That's when I started to question what earning actually means. You know, during the same period of my life, I came across some other information that suggested earning isn't just labor, it's not just clocking in, it's not just a paycheck. Earning is an exchange of value. Sometimes the value is skill, other times it's time itself, it's attention, other times it's insight, knowledge. But for me, research incentives taught me something important. Participation has value, even when it's not flashy. That lesson has a lot of overlap. In fact, this mindset is also what pulled me into crypto. Not the hype, not the promises, but the participation. Crypto also stood as an opportunity that I saw to be a part of something all on my own. No one gave me permission. No one told me it was wrong or right. I just decided to learn, ask questions, and dig. And my digging uncovered some gems. Gems I found that were worth value. So, for those wary, crypto is often framed as speculation, right? But I say underneath that, it's a system where people participate early, they take risks, learn publicly, and build community. I think crypto has its value because of the community's attribution of it. It matters to people because they use it, and as they give it value and use it, others appreciate it and add more value to it. Most people like to approach it the same way they approach jobs. They wait to be told what's safe. The shame is, those good things that come to those who wait, it's usually what's left behind. I wasn't satisfied with that. I stopped waiting. Now, that doesn't mean I stopped being careful. It just means I started being active. I stopped being passive. So, here's what this year on the radio will be about. It's about breaking invisible chains. If you listen to Steel Pulse, there's a beautiful song. The band, they say break invisible chains. These mental gates that we don't realize we're boxing ourselves in, we need to break them down. So each week, I'll talk through one idea: money, research, incentives, crypto, systems, habits. Now, it's not to convince you to copy me, but to help you see what you might be missing. You don't need to do everything. You don't need to rush either. You may not even believe me, which is okay. But you have to be willing to pay the cost. The cost to be the boss is the price to pay attention. You just need to notice. So, if you take nothing else from today, take this. You don't need anyone's permission to learn how money works. what opportunities are out there. Learning is allowed. Participation is encouraged. I personally believe earning begins with an awareness of the value available, the value needed, and the value you can offer. It has nothing to do with approval. So next week, I'll talk all about incentives, why companies pay for opinions, and how understanding that changed how I fund my life and all of my endeavors. So with that, I thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. And most of all, thank you for being willing to think differently.